first off, the function of the digestive system, the short and dirty version of it is that you're going to take in food, you're going to break that food down into things that you can use, nutrients and things like that, and then you're going to defecate out everything that you don't use. Okay, that's the quick version of the functions. What's the digestive system made of? There's two main parts to the digestive system. First off, you have the alimentary canal. That's the tube that goes from your lips to your anus, and that is everything that your food touches that goes all the way through your body. Okay, it's also known as your GI tract. Anything that's not a part of that big long tube is called an accessory digestive organ. Okay, that's going to be things like your teeth, your tongue, your liver, your pancreas. Okay, things that shoot things into that tube to aid in the digestive process that aren't actually a part of the tube itself. Okay, what is the alimentary canal? It's a 30-foot long muscular tube. It winds its way all the way through your body. Okay, what's it made of? There are four main layers. First off, we have the mucosa. That's going to be the innermost layer. It's very foldy. Okay, there's lots and lots of folds in the mucosa. Okay, to increase the surface area so that you can take in the nutrients as well as you possibly can. Okay, then we have the submucosa, which is found beneath the mucosa, or actually it's found superficial to the mucosa, if we're going to be a little more an anatomy term correct here. It's made of soft connective tissue. It's got lymph and blood vessels in there. You've got nerve endings in there. And it's going to help to regulate the mobility of the GI tract organs. We also have the muscularis externa. This is an intercircular layer of muscle. This is going to be what's going to contract that causes peristalsis. Okay, and we're going to talk about what peristalsis is as well. Okay, it's going to be what's going to allow you to move your food along that little tube. Okay, so speaking of peristalsis, is there something else I wanted to mention here? Nope, I guess not. Okay, so speaking of peristalsis, so what's going to happen is that that muscularis externa is going to contract, okay, and it's going to be like if you have a long tube full of something, okay, or let's say it's like full of toothpaste or something like that, and you wanted to get out. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze one end and you're going to push it down until it all squeezes out the end. Okay, that's the idea behind peristalsis. You're going to have these muscle contractions, which is going to move food from the mouth end of your body to the anus end of your body. Okay, then we have the serosa. The serosa is the outermost layer of the alimentary canal. This is also known as the visceral peritoneum. Okay, and then that's going to extend out to form what's called the mesentery. The mesentery is a support organ, okay? So that's going to be the serosa. So here is that mesentery that I was mentioning earlier. So you've got the peritoneum, which surrounds the alimentary canal, and then it's going to extend out, kind of like the epimysium extended out past a muscle. It's going to extend out to form this this mesentery. It's like a webbing that's going to hold your GI tract together. So more about the peritoneum. It's a serous membrane. Okay, it's going to line the abdominal cavity, and you've got, of course, the mesentery, but you've also got these two other major peritoneum pieces as well. Okay, we have the lesser omentum and the greater omentum, and these are like these big sheets or these big folds which cover up your abdominal organs. Okay, so here's where your omentums are going to hang out. So they're going to fold down to cover all of these organs in this abdominal area. And we're going to really see, when we do the cat dissection, we're really going to be able to see the omentums very, very well. Okay, they're very, very pronounced in the cat dissection. So here goes the greater omentum here. You can see how large it is. It's incredibly large. Very interesting. So here's the pathway of food. When you eat, okay, when you go to Texas Roadhouse or wherever it is that you go to eat, okay, you're going to take in some food, okay, into your mouth. You're going to chew it. The scientific term for chewing is mastication, okay? After you swallow it, it's going to go down into your pharynx, okay? Then it's going to travel into your esophagus. From your esophagus, you go down into your stomach, where you're going to experience a mechanical and a chemical breakdown. Then you're going to enter the small intestine. That's where the majority of digestion is going to occur. Then you're going to make your way into the large intestines. In the large intestines, your body's going to start to reabsorb water. Okay, what that means for us is that where you have this very liquidy, gloopy glop that's going through your intestines, now you're going to start to pull that water out so that you can start to form feces. The rectum then is going to collect and eventually expel your feces. So that's the pathway that your food takes. So we're going to take a look at each one of these organs in a little more detail. Okay, first off, the mouth. This one's obvious. It's where food enters. It's where you have your teeth. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the ones that you should know. Okay, your lips are going to protect the opening of your mouth. Okay, the scientific word for lips is labia. This is going to keep your food in your mouth while you're chewing. The vestibule is this area here. Okay, there's your vestibule right there. It's the space between your lips and your cheek and your gums and your teeth. So if you do this, if you make a bubble, remember making a bubble in elementary school? If you do this, okay, all the area where air was filled in there is the vestibule. Okay, your tongue is on the floor of your mouth. It's going to mix your food with saliva. When you mix your food with saliva, it's going to form what's called a bolus. Okay, so that when you chew up your food and you open it up for your brothers and sisters to see, and you've got that chunk of food in your mouth, okay, that's called a bolus. There's also a lingual frenulum, which is going to secure your floor or your tongue down to the floor of your mouth. And you got lucky that I'm doing this video because I've got a hardcore lingual frenulum that I can show you. Here it is. You ready for this? It's gross. You ready for this? See that bad boy? That's a huge lingual frenulum. Okay? Let's see if I can show you again. There it is. Okay? That's the lingual frenulum. Awesome. All right, continuing on, we've got the pharynx and the esophagus. The pharynx is a common passageway for food and fluid and air and all of that stuff that's going to be going down towards the main rest of your body, okay? We're mainly focusing on food at this point, but either way, it says food and liquid only pass through the oro and laryngopharynx, okay? And then the muscle contraction, known as peristalsis, is going to propel food down into your stomach. Okay, so theoretically, even if you were sitting on your head or standing on your head and you tried to eat, theoretically that food would still enter your stomach because of peristalsis. Okay, the esophagus is a long tube that connects your pharynx to your stomach. Okay, once again, peristalsis is here, and the bolus, which is that chewed up food, is going to spend about 10 seconds passing through the esophagus. Okay, we also have the stomach. This is a very important organ. Your food's going to spend roughly 2 to 4 hours in the stomach. Okay, due to an extra layer of muscle, the stomach's also going to be able to churn food. That's going to be that physical breakdown that we were talking about earlier, the mechanical breakdown where physical changes are happening. In the stomach wall, you've got two main kinds of cells. You've got chief cells that are producing digestive enzyme. You've also got parietal cells, which are producing hydrochloric acid, or HCl, for chemical breakdown. Okay, and that mixture is called gastric juice. So in the stomach itself, we've got a few very important pieces. We have the cardioesophageal sphincter, which you're going to find right up here. Okay, cardioesophageal, break that word down into cardio, which is here, and esophageal, which means esophagus, and so that sphincter is going to be right in between the two. We also have the fundus, which is the upper curvature of the stomach. We have the body of the stomach, which is the main portion. We have the pylorus, which is going to be where the stomach funnels into the small intestine. And then at the very end of the stomach, right before it goes into the small intestine, it's going to go through the pyloric sphincter to the rugae. And the rugae are these little folds inside of the stomach, okay? So when your stomach is full, you can hold about a gallon of food. Okay, when it's empty, it's going to shrivel back down, and you're going to be able to see these folds a lot more. Okay, when it's full, though, it's going to stretch out, and you're not going to be able to see the folds as much. There's two major curvatures of the stomach as well. You've got a big curve and a little curve. Well, as luck would have it, the big curve is called the greater curvature, meaning that it's the larger one, and the smaller curve here in the middle is called the lesser curvature. When food starts to mix with your stomach fluids, you're going to now change that bolus into what's called chyme. Okay, chyme is a heavy cream that's going to exist after the physical breakdown and then the chemical breakdown in the stomach. Okay, so once it's making its way out of the stomach and into the small intestines, it is known as chyme.
Got a friend in me.
You got a friend in me.